Very good afternoon and many thanks indeed for keeping it locked here at ICS TV. Being the 16th of October 2018, just 2 days to the election day, and today we are having the analysis. And remember, you're watching the race to the ballot analysis. And I'm joined by a guest who comes from just around ICS, and he's going to be analyzing for us the elections. By the name, he's Mr. Felix Otieno, who works also as a lecturer here. Mr. Felix, welcome.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Well, maybe you tell us what's your feeling towards the elections.
Well, the election is very much anticipated for by all the stakeholders. The students are very much anticipating the elections. Of course, they have their preferred candidates, so they're waiting for the D-Day. I believe the aspirants as well, they have been preparing for the election, they have been mobilizing their support from all over, and also in the part of those who are handling the election, the officials and the commissions, there is much that is expected from them. So as I mentioned on Friday, date 19, we are highly expecting the election to be a successful activity and bring in new channel of leadership that will take ICS to a better place.
And how about the temperature in the campaigning mood? How is the temperature? Do you feel it's too hot for the people who are campaigning, or how do you feel it?
Well, in my side, I'm not feeling too much temperature. In fact, the heat that is available cannot make anyone sweat. I don't know why this time around our candidates are too much, I would say, not that relaxed, but they are not as vibrant as the campaign session that we had during the last year's election. Yeah, but I can see some movement. Candidates are really campaigning, and they're working and communicating with the students. So as much as the heat is not as we expect on my side, there is heat, and they're doing very good in terms of their campaign.
So you want to tell me that there is no irregularities in the campaigns?
I would say as at now, if there are irregularities as such, but as far as I'm concerned, campaign involved a lot of activities, involving even erection of posters, which we saw coming after the date that it had been planned for. So far on my side, I've not seen any irregularity, because the posters were placed after the campaign date was officially launched, and the campaigners, the candidates, or the aspirants, that is, they also started campaigning during the scheduling period. So in terms of campaigning time, I wouldn't say that there is any irregularity. But if there's any, during the campaign period, I've not seen. We're just waiting for the election period. We see if there will be any irregularity, which I don't expect to be there.
Okay, and now we know that the elections are going to comprise of every category, but at least I want you to tell us what are some of the duties of the chairperson as soon as he gets to office.
Well, the chair is like the president. First, I would say that the election system of an institution like our own institution, ICS, is so much focused, is so much borrowed from our country's political system. So, just as we know, the president of the country is expected to oversee almost every activity in coordination with other branches of the government. We also expect that the chairman, being the head of the Student Governing Council and the Students' Union, be in coordination with the administration, that is the management of ICS, in making sure that everything runs smoothly. More so on the part of the students, the chairman is there to be like a voice for the students. Apart from that, he'll be in charge of governing and chairing meetings within the Students' Governing Council and within the student unions, and also receive various issues that students will be having through other elective positions, other members of the student governing body who will also be elected. Sorry. So the chair will be there to oversee a lot, and also coordinate with the management to make sure that the students and the management coordinate well. Plus, I believe he is expected to be available and coordinate with the management any responsibility that he has been given by the management as well as the students, being that he's a servant of the people. The people in this case being the students, is expected to do much on part of the students.
Well, and let me tell you now, as a lecturer, do you think the chairperson can help you in some of, I mean, are there some things that you think he can help? And if yes, what are these things that do you want him to come to a completion when he immediately gets into office? What are these things that you feel that we as lecturers need this one and this to be clarified?
In the institution, it is a system. And one of the functions of a system is that it is complete when the whole parts of the system work in coordination. So, as a lecturer in this institution, I would expect that in one way, directly or indirectly, the chairperson will be helpful to me as a lecturer because he's responsible for the students. And when I'm teaching, I expect students in my class. I expect students to be coming to class. And one of the reasons why students will be coming to class is that they have completed their fees and they don't have any issue that is affecting their academics, so that we instill knowledge in them.
Well, let me ask you this. Now you're telling us that the issue of coming to class is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Now I want you to address this issue because we've seen in a couple of months after they are elected, they mostly do not come to class. How do you think they are going to help? Because if they personally do not come to class, will they help the students to come to class?
Well, that's a good question, Tony. The student leaders, as I said earlier, they are like the eye of the institution, especially in the part of the students. So they are more of role models. And I want to say that specifically to address the student, the incoming, the prospective, the aspirants who are coming in. A lot is expected from them in terms of being a role model to students. So we expect that whatever they would want students to do in terms of academics, they be in the forefront. In terms of, you mentioned attending classes, in terms of not just attending classes, but overall performance of the students. Just the other day, the NEC exams were released, and we had a view and we had an opinion about the general performance of the students. And if we were to look at, suppose if there was any student leader who had participated in the exams, we had to pick in and zero down to their performances and compare with other students' performances, we would maybe say that they performed well, and students have also performed well because of the student leaders. So we expect much in terms of being a role model to students in terms of academics and any other activity, disciplinary issues, and general academic work.
Well, and what's the influence of elections to the management? Is it positive or negative?
Election would be generally a positive influence to management. Just as I had said, the institution is a system which is run by parts of the system. And the student governing council, the students' union body, is part of the system. So without the students' union, you realize that it is an incomplete system, which is bound to fail. So it is a very important part of the institution.
Well, and on the 16th of October, which is today,
yes,
at around 12 p.m., 12 noon, the principal got into the library and he said that if a student does not have a school ID and the student's portal is not active, and also if the student has not, the biometric is not going to allow him to get into the school, so he's not going to be allowed to vote. Don't you think it's going to oppress some of the students? Because if actually the student has not paid his school fees, but he or she knows that he's going to pay later, don't you think it's going to be oppressed because he'll not have selected the leader of his own choice, because it's going to be a choice of other people, not him?
Well, I believe in preparation for the election, there have been preparations, and one of them is the qualifications of the voters. Just like in our country, we have voters qualification. Amongst them is age, maybe citizenship, and maybe residence. And when you narrow down to our voting process, one of the requirements is that you must be a bona fide student of ICS college, a bona fide student of ICS, and you must also be having, let's say, a student ID, and you must be registered, you must be able to access the portal. Apart from that, you must be, your portal must be activated. So as at now, those are the qualifications, or rather the requirements on the voter side. So I would say when it comes to that, the voters, they need to participate, but then these requirements are there. So the best thing that you can do right now is to make sure that the requirements that are needed of them, what is required of them, they make sure that they streamline. This is not the time where we want to like question the qualifications or the personal requirements on the voter side. Yeah, I'll just urge our voters to adhere to the requirements that have been put in place, so that we make sure that the leaders that we require get into office.
And do you think the management should come up with a mechanism in that when the biometric does not allow the voter to come in, at least there are some requirements, because there must be the student also say, okay, let's say one cannot come and vote and he does not belong to ICS college. So don't you think the management should come up with a mechanism where they can help the students, whereby the biometrics are not going to allow them, but then maybe the portal is active, but the biometric is not going to allow him? Don't you think the school should come up with some mechanisms to help them also come in and vote, because they are students, they are legally students of ICS, but then the biometric has just not has denied them the access?
Well, Tony, if I get your question right, you're talking about students being unable to access, to get in the institution through biometric.
Yeah, through biometric, because because it's one of it's one of the principles that are there so that one can vote. So don't you think the school or the institution should come up with mechanisms whereby it's going to let them come in and vote? I mean, maybe they're just going to look to the systems. If he or she is a student, be allowed to come in and vote.
Well, we have various means for identification of a student of ICS. One of them is the school ID, which I believe every genuine ICS student has a school ID. We also have the biometric access for our classes. Now, biometric access is like, in this case, I would say it's a backup. When you take a look at the national election for our country, we are saying that the biometric identification procedure is the main one, then the register, the manual one, is the backup. In the last year's election, we had a register where we identifying the students who are coming to vote. We check their ID, and then we look at if he is a genuine student. Meaning, this student must have been registered in the institution. And one of the nowadays, one of the ways we identify such is by biometric logins. Biometric link up with your registration details to identify whether you are a student of ICS. I would say this, that if you are a genuine student of ICS, there is, of course, maybe I expect that there would be a backup, maybe at least a manual register of students. So just in case the biometric fails to identify you for one reason or the other, maybe system failures might happen, there should be a manual register whereby if you have failed to be identified by the biometric, you come in with your ID. Of course, you cannot be coming in the register without ID. Yeah?
Yes.
You'll not be, there will be no means of identifying whether you are an ICS student, because we need to check your ID, and we need to confirm from your face, which sometimes the ID cannot be very clear, yeah? And then confirm with the register. But as it remains, biometric is the best way, because I want to view it in this direction. In one way or the other, with the excitement of getting more votes, I'm not saying aspirants would do that, but there might be a possibility that one or two of the aspirants mobilize few IDs of maybe candidates who had finished or cleared school, then exchange in the hands of voters. Then they come and use the voting the ID, the manual register. Then you cross, then you go to vote. You see that is an irregularity in the first place.
Yeah, let me cut you short because my director tells me that time is not on side. But then in a few minutes, please just tell us the voting process and at what time will the polling station be open and at what time the results of the elections are going to be announced.
Well, we expect the polling stations. I believe we have one general polling station where all the voting processes will take place, and we expect that the polling stations will be open at exactly 8 a.m. to give ample time for voters, and by latest 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. because we have our evening students who would want to come and vote. 7 to 8, we should be having our results. Yeah. In the voting process, there are various positions that need to be voted for, and we expect that our candidates should be knowing, our voters, to be knowing the various aspirants so that they don't confuse. Because you'll be given a ballot paper containing, if it is for chairman, list for chairman, a list for secretary general, a list for sports and academic sports and entertainment, academic secretary, and many others. So the process will be on preparation of the election officials, just arranging the ballot boxes, making sure that the ballot papers are enough for the voters, and conducting the election process. After that, announcing of results, tallying, of course tallying first, then announcing of the results, then we'll have the winner.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Felix. We would like to know many things because I can see we've got the election panel petition, and this is the panel. I think someone is going to deal with election petitions that are going to be forwarded. And also I see we've got some election there are some people who are supposed to participate in the election petitions. This panel will also consist of 2 class representatives in the ICS college. Principal will appoint 4 members from the quality assurance, and the chair of the panel will be the principal, will be appointed by the principal, and the chair of the panel shall be a member of the quality assurance, not a student. There are so many things we'd like to know, but then because time is not our side, we would like to take a short commercial break and connect with Green Wizard ICS grounds. He'll be telling us the feeling of the students and talking to some of the leaders who have been there, and they also aspirants for this election. So, Mr. Green, I hope you're getting me well from outside there. Mr. Green, are you hearing me?
Yes, Mr. Tony, I can get you very clearly from the studio. You can see from the walls all over, the posts have been attached 2 weeks now, which means that the aspirants are really working hard to ensure that they win in this election. With me, I'm joined with an aspirant called Collins Juma. Okay, Collins Juma, we have only 2 hours now to start the debate that has been waited for a long time. How well are you prepared for this debate?
I'm prepared well enough because I want to serve my people. That's all I can say.
Okay, that's good. And we all know that the election will be held this Friday. What are your expectations?
My expectation that the election should be free and fair. That's all.
That's all?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Kolo. Well, that was Collins Juma, one of the great and confident aspirants. With me is another one good man and a great and a confident also aspirant who is prepared enough to join this debate that has been awaited. Now it's only 2 hours. So, Mr. Tony Mavuri, right? The debate that has been waited for long is going to kick off in 2 hours now. How well are you prepared for this debate?
I'm much prepared for the debate, but in any promise that I fulfill for my fellow students, I make sure I fulfill for them.
Thank you very much. And also we know that we are going to have the election on Friday. What are your expectations in this exercise?
Okay, for Friday, but they we leave for the students, but they should come in number, vote for me, vote for Wise.
Vote for you and vote wisely. Thank you very much. That was Tony Mavuri. I also have another confident aspirant. So, madam, what is your name?
My name is Nasra Osman, popularly known as Aisha.
Today we are going to have the debate that has been awaited for so long. How much are you prepared?
I'm very much ready for it. I have been waiting for this moment for almost a week, and it was supposed to take place at 1:30 p.m. and I was around here waiting for it to start. So I'm very much ready for it.
And well, after the debate, we are going to have the election on Friday. What are your expectations in this election?
My expectations are higher. We are 5 people vying. It is must and compulsory 4 people must fail, but there is nothing like failing in my dictionary. I will either learn or win, and that's my policy.
Thank you very much. That was Nasra Osman saying that she either wins or learn. I'm also joined with another great and confident lady vying for the same position that is presidential. Well, madam, I'm so much okay. So what is your name?
My name is Damaris Ongoti, and I'm vying for the seat of chairperson.
Well, thank you. In 2 hours from now, we are going to have the debate that has been awaited for so long.
Okay.
Now, how much are you prepared for this debate?
I'm very much prepared, like 100% prepared. I'm only waiting for the debate to start, and everything will be wrapped up.
Okay, thank you. And you seem to be very confident. What are your expectations exactly in this election?
The election, okay, according to me, what I've done and how the people will appreciate me, because I know I've done something for them, they will appreciate me back and they will take me in. So I'm not that much worried, though my aspirants are there, my opponents are tough, but I know I'm up to the big game and I'm waiting for the big day to happen. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate.
Thank you.
That was Damaris Onguti. Well, that was Damaris Onguti saying that he's really confident and ready for the debate. Also joined with another aspirant vying for the same position that is presidential. Well, Mr.
Philbert Masege. Philbert July Masege is my name.
Okay, we all know that the debate that has been awaited for so long, from 2 hours from now, it will start. How much are you prepared in this debate?
I'm very confident in myself, and I'm very confident in my manifesto that I have, and I am well conversant with my manifesto, and I know that I'm going to articulate it very well, and I'm confident that the people who are going to elect me.
Yes. Confidence is what you said. You
exactly.
seem to be very confident.
I'm very confident.
We also know that the election will be held this Friday.
Yes.
What are your expectations? Really?
My expectations, I think I've done a lot of work in campaigning, as also my team, we have campaigned a lot, and I expect that the people now, it's up to the people now to decide, and I know the best choice that they can make is to choose me and to elect me as their chairperson.
As the chairperson?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was Mtetezi. Well, those were the aspirants who are going to participate in this debate that has been awaited for so long. I'm also joined with their supporters who will definitely vote for them, and wisely indeed. So to start with is a young man from this institution saying that he supports Juma Collins, as you can see. So young man, what is your name and what is your feeling toward this election?
Okay, at first I'm Zachary Onyango, and I've got many feelings, but the biggest of them being that Collins Juma will be announced as the next chairperson of ICS College.
So you mean and you hope that Juma Collins will definitely be the winner in this election, and why do you think so?
Let me say I'm not hoping. It has been done and it is going to be confirmed. And the reason as to why I'm doing this is because people are ready for change, and change is all we need. We can't put the same people who are there and help us with nothing. Collins Juma is the right person, and I know he'll take the seat.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, young man, what is your name and what are your feelings towards this election?
My name is Zakaria Abdullah Mire, and I support Nasra Osman, popularly known as Aisha, because of I know she's a hard-working girl, and we want to change. We have seen the former leaders; they haven't done any good work for us, so we want to change. That's why I choose Aisha.
Okay, thank you very much. So, young man, what is your name and what are your feelings towards this election?
I'm Felix Otieno. I'm really looking forward to a free and fair election where we eventually, at the end of it all, will have a qualified winner who will be able to bring a change in this school, because all of us really need a change in this school. That's what we are looking for. And my supporter, the person I'm supporting, Damaris, I'm sure she will take the day.
So you're saying that you're supporting Damaris?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
because.
And before you answer that, why do you support her, and why do you think that she's going to win in this election?
I think she's going to win. She's going to win because she has already covered much ground and she's talked to the people well enough, and she has the heart of compassion. She has the heart to work, and she has the spirit of a leader, which is definitely what you're looking for.
I also have another man here who, in this race, when it started, he was involved and he was supposed to be in this ongoing race. Now something happened. Now we would like to know what happened in this race. Until now, he's not in this race. So, Mr. Danrai Otieno, it is known that when the race started, you were involved and you were included in the list. But now, as things are getting tougher and the days are really going on, we've noticed that you are not in this list. So what happened and what have you decided till now?
Okay, I'm Danrai Otieno, and I was one of aspirants, and I was competing for chairperson seat. Things are not getting tougher. I just see that I'm not thirsty of power. There's no reason that I'm finished my education on March next year, and this duration should be more than a year. So I just saw that I should just get out and support someone that I feel that can ensure that my manifesto or my needs are being heard as a student. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's all we would like to know, and we really do appreciate that, Mr. Danrai. Well, that was what is going on in this atmosphere that people are really waiting for this election. Back to you, Mr. Tony.
Thank you so much, Mr. Green, and that was Mr. Green from the ICS grounds. I don't want to add anything on what those people have said, but then now I want to ask you to continue watching ICS TV. I've been your host, Tony Ngala, and remember we are having the ballot race debate. This is going to be with the chairman, and it is going to be headed by Dexter Omondi and Vela Muturi. They'll be coming in a few minutes. Mine just tell you goodbye and thank you so much. You just keep it locked.